Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Ye-
Yes, madam.
Okay, ma'am. So we have completed with the dispersal of these spore. That is how the spore is and how is the structure of the spore and all that. Okay. Now we'll go with the germination, like how this spore is germinated. Okay. So in this polytrichum, okay, when the spore is just dispersed out of the capsule, this spore, so we can find, so from each spore mother cell, it gives rise to 4 spores. So just like in Markantia we studied, in Markantia also, among the 4 spores, 2 spores will develop into male gametophyte and 2 spores develop into female gametophyte. Here also in the polytrichum, from the spores released from the capsule region, 2 spores they are developing into the male gametophyte and 2 will develop into the female. So how is that? There the spore directly germinate and produce the gametophyte. But in polytrichum, these spores, they are forming the first stage of the gametophyte, that we call it as the protonema. Okay, the spore will develop into, that is, the spore will keep on dividing and producing a long filamentous structure. Okay, so first it undergo one division and form the basal rhizoidal cell and upper filamentous cell. Now the filamentous cell, the rhizoidal cell will forms into rhizoids, and the upper filamental cell, it keep on dividing and dividing and producing the long leafy like structure of the gametophyte. So that structure we call it as the protonema, the young stage or the first stage of the gametophyte. So this is called as the protonemal stage. So this protonema, it will develop into the adult gametophyte. So in nowhere in the bryophytes you come across this protonemal stage, except in the class Bryopsida of the bryophytes. Bryophytes lone, that is in Bryopsida class lone, you come across the formation of protonemal stage developed from the germination of the spores. Okay, right. So as this in this life cycle, that is in the life cycle of the bryophytes or the polytrichum also, you are coming across 2 different stages. So that's why we calling it as heteromorphic alternation of generation. The that is the sporophytic generation is completely different from gametophytic generation. So we call it as heteromorphic alteration of generation. Okay. Now, next when you go to the life cycle here, so this is a polytrichum plant, a gametophyte. It will develop the antheridial head, produces antheridia. Archegonial head develops archegonia. So from the antheridia, it will produces the anthrozoids. Archegonia produces the female gamete egg. The fertilization will occur here. Anthrozoids will go and fuse with the egg cell and resulting in the formation of a oospore, or we are also calling it as a zygote. So with this, the gametophytic generation will complete. Now from the development, that is the oospore, that is a zygote, will develops into a sporophyte. Already I told you that sporophyte here is classified into 3 regions: foot, seta, and the capsule. Foot is the embedded in the gametophytic tissue, that is in the female plant. Foot region is be present. We can see the presence of a long seta, and upon the seta you can see the most important part of the sporophyte, that we call it as the capsule. So in the capsule, we come across the presence of 2 spore sacs. Within the spore sac, we can see the presence of the spore mother cells. These spore mother cells will undergo reduction division and produce the haploid spores. So by the formation of these spores, the sporophytic generation will end. Now these spores, they will germinate and produce an younger stage, what we call it as the protonema. So from the protonema, here it is not there actually. So I'll show you another slide. Okay, so this is a protonema. The protonema will develop into the plant. That is, one protonema will develop into a male polytrichum and another protonema will develop into a female polytrichum. So this is about the life cycle, and here also the life cycle is considered as the diplohaplontic life cycle. Okay. So with this, we end with the polytrichum class. Any doubts, ma, here? So shall I stop share? Yes, ma. Any doubts in this particular topic? You're most welcome. So with this, we have completed with the 3 genera of the Bryophyt, that is a Markantia, Anthoceros, and the Polytrichum. Yes, ma'am. Any doubts, ma'am? Okay, if not, we'll end. Sir, shall I end the session, sir? Hello, sir? I don't think so, sir. Is it okay, ma? Then thank you. I'll leave the session here. Thank you very much for your patience listening. And మీకు ఇంకేమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే సార్ దగ్గర నా నంబర్ ఉంది, తీసుకోండి. ఎనీ టైమ్ యూ కెన్ కాల్ మీ. I'll clear your doubts. Okay, na?
Okay, madam.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Okay. తర్వాత మళ్ళీ మీకు కొన్ని రోజుల తర్వాత I will start with the Pteridophyta. అంటే జస్ట్ ఐ కన్ఫర్మ్ ఇట్ ఉన్న టైం షెడ్యూల్ ని బట్టి మాకు కాలేజ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ ఫర్ ది కాలేజ్. సో కాలేజ్ లో వర్క్స్ ని బట్టి ఐ ఇన్ఫార్మ్ సర్ టు స్టార్ట్ విత్ Pteridophyta. సరేనా?
Okay, ma'am.
ఓకే దెన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. సరే, థ్యాంక్ యూ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ. See you. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right.